body is not created to digest high concentrations of fat and protein, okay? In most food sources, the only way you get concentrated fat and protein is when you eat animal flesh. And so the African is not designed to eat flesh. And if in the species of African there is a individual that would eat flesh, it would be the male, not the female. Okay, one of the greatest travesties on a social level that has happened to Africans in America is the eating of flesh by the African woman. And when the African woman is willing to stop eating flesh, she will actually begin to have a victory in her own home, in her own community, and most of all, a reunion with her man. And the reason why is because the concentrated protein and fat creates what we call an androgenic reaction in the woman. It actually produces an increase of testosterone. So therefore, her whole magnetism changes to one of electric. So it becomes the same as the man. Okay, so therefore many men will tell you that in the presence of an African woman it's like being with another man. So they don't have any problems busting us upside the head with their fists and the whole bit, because we don't have any problems jumping up in their chest like we are like them. And it's a whole identity confusion that comes about because of a biological, chemical abnormality because of improper diet. Okay, so she is not created to tolerate high concentrations of animal fat and protein because it produces an androgenic reaction. See, the highest level of testosterone in the human race is in the African man. And then the second highest level of testosterone in the human race is in the African woman. Do you understand that? Is that I have more testosterone than most white men, Asian men, Indian men. Okay, and I don't have to do very much at all to bust out with sideburns and a beard and a mustache, etc. through my diet, which is why there's so many African women that have that. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying my muscle mass automatically is 8 times more than a Caucasian, 10 times more bone mass, etc. As a woman, do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why I'm saying that therefore it's very crucial that the African woman has to refrain from eating those foods in high concentration. Okay? Now, because of what protein does, protein is an ego builder. Okay? On a metaphysical level, protein builds ego. And so if anybody is to have ego, it should be the man, because he's the one that has to go out into the world and choreograph the life force energy that he receives from us, right? So that means he has to have some tenacity, he has to have some arrogance, he has to have some courage to go out there and do what he has to do, because he can't come back with an empty hand to me if he's taking my life force energy, okay? So that's why he has to eat more protein. Now, when a woman eats more protein, it actually makes her ovaries hard and rubbery. And that is where the life force energy emanates, from the pelvis. So when her pelvis becomes full of tumors and her ovaries become rubbery, her life force energy diminishes. And you see that everywhere she goes, because there's nothing that is imbuing life. Everything is raggedy, old, peeling, kicked to the side, full of trash and garbage. And you know that if there's women that are living there, they have a sick pelvis. I guarantee you. A woman whose ovaries are kicking and her uterus is nice and soft like it's supposed to be, I don't care how little her stuff is, it's gorgeous. Because she can't help but do that, because she is actually a walking vessel that contains life force energy. I don't care whether she's a doctor who is a vessel of life force, or a secretary who's a vessel of life force, or a homemaker who's a vessel of life force. Wherever she is, it's supposed to be imminent and full of life force energy. So when there are females in environments and there's nothing living and everything is ruined and not fixed up, it's because she has a reproductive imbalance that is causing her, or a psychological state that is causing her to shut down and not release that energy. That's why it's so crucial for us. Okay, now, obviously, what are we supposed to be eating? Well, for women, they definitely need foods that keep them open and expansive. So leaves that are open and expansive. flowers, okay, which are in the forms of fruits, but only fruits in season and only fruits where you live. Do you understand what I'm saying? So therefore, you don't sit up in the wintertime and eat watermelon and cantaloupe, okay? And these things only come in season in late July and October. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying that therefore, dark green leafy vegetables, grains in season, okay, and those kind of foods are very much complementary to the African woman. And when she eats those, all kind of wonderful things happen. Okay, next.